Welcome to the Big Success Show. Today, how to cut through clutter to find clarity.
Big Success with the Professor and Mary-Lynn.
One of Shakespeare's most famous quotes, and I have to admit, Mary-Lynn, I'm not necessarily I think I learned more about Shakespeare by watching Gilligan's Island than just about anything.
Wait, why Gilligan's Island?
There was an episode on Gilligan's Island where they did a Shakespeare play, Hamlet, I guess, and the skipper was singing something about neither a borrower nor a lender be. Which is of course Shakespeare.
Right.
So anyway, that's where you learned about Shakespeare. That's where I learned about Shakespeare. And then I did take a philosophy class that was all about Shakespeare.
That's just so funny because we're the Professor and Mary-Lynn.
Yes.
Which comes off
true.
from Gilligan.
Exactly.
So I mean, my goodness, it's like 6 degrees of separation from Gilligan's Island and Big Success.
Exactly. Well now in that same play Hamlet that we were just talking about, he says, "This above all, to thine own self be true."
And in the scene
yes.
where that powerful quote was made, a dad is giving his son advice. And he provided a host of great tips, but of them all, the most important one, the one that stands above all others, is to thine own self be true.
We like to think of it as Shakespeare's advice on clutter and clarity.
And we're going to explain why here on today's show.
Hi, I'm George, a.k.a. the Professor.
And I'm Mary-Lynn. Now, there's a question we often get from listeners of our podcast. What's up with the Professor's whiteboard? That's the sound you always hear as we bring it out. We use
I can't hear that enough.
We use a virtual whiteboard to showcase the big takeaway in each episode of our podcast, The Big Success Show. And the professor, there,
that's me, I guess,
opens up the closet to get the whiteboard, and that's where all that noise and rocking is coming from, because a mountain of stuff falls out of the closet, and the stuff is clutter in all forms.
So the Professor's whiteboard is an audio representation of what we do here at Big Success. We help you cut through the clutter to find the clarity.
And it's a huge problem for a lot of us today. There's just too much clutter, not enough clarity, too many choices to make, too many options. There's just so much stuff all around us.
Yeah, because we humans crave options, right?
We like options, right? But then
Absolutely.
We get overwhelmed by them.
We do. And the thing is, I think for smart people, creative people, multi-talented people, the kind of people who are part of the Big Success community, we simply have more options to process, which creates even more clutter.
Yes, physical clutter, of course. Digital clutter, increasingly so. My gosh, you should see all the pictures on my phone. We see the physical clutter. We feel the digital clutter as we search for a file but can't seem to find it.
And we search, and we search, and we search.
I named it and put it in a folder so I'd easily be able to find it. Now I can't find it.
But here, Mary-Lynn, I got a little clutter here. It's an article from Newsweek back in June 7th of 2004.
You saved that?
I did. I'm the king of clutter, baby. But the thing is, in this article, they said that the average American loses 55 minutes every day searching for things they cannot find.
Oh, my goodness.
Now, keep in mind, we're not really talking, a lot has happened. We spend a lot more time on the internet than we used to, right? A lot of more time with our computers.
Right.
Do you think it's fair to say that the average person loses more than that hour a day to digital clutter? I think probably so, right?
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
And we haven't even talked yet about the most costly form of clutter. Intangible clutter, I like to think of it as. Mental, emotional, and spiritual clutter. Any one of them can rob a person of days, weeks, months, years, dare I say, a lifetime.
Yeah, that's true. So to show you how to avoid this, let's pull out the professor's whiteboard for 3 ways to cut clutter and find clarity.
It's clear to me that's a whole lot of clutter.
Yes, clearly. All right. So the first way to cut clutter and find clarity is to keep a clear mind.
Now, the single best way to avoid mental clutter is by defining your vision. Where are you going personally, professionally, and financially? Now, with an unclouded vision, you'll be amazed at how easy it is to keep the clutter away. So guard against mental clutter now and in the future so you can advance faster toward your vision of big success. And that's big with 2 G's, baby.
Oh, yeah. All right, 3 ways to cut clutter and find clarity. Number 2 is keep a clear heart.
How do you avoid emotional clutter? The single best way is to define your mission.
So we just talked about your vision.
Right.
That helps you keep a clear mind.
Exactly.
And so to keep a clear heart, you need to know your mission.
Your mission. Why is it so important for you to advance your vision? Catch that? These two are linked, right? Who will be better off as a result?
Your mission touches your heartstrings.
Yes, it does.
And the people that you care about depend on you. So if you get unfocused, if you don't deal with that clutter, they're going to suffer. As a result, you're going to suffer too.
So the sooner you cut out emotional clutter and trim it regularly, the better off you and the people you care about will be.
And that brings us to our 3rd way to cut clutter and find clarity, and that's to keep a clear soul.
Now, the shortest path to avoiding spiritual clutter is to define your values.
Oh, wow. So now we've talked about your vision.
Yes.
And we talked about your mission.
Yep.
And now here we are for the soul. We're talking about your values.
Yes, the trifecta of big success, right? The power triangle.
Right.
So what do you do? What do you stand for? That's one question to ask to help understand your values. And what do you believe in? Those 2 things kind of combined are really kind of helping you zero in on what your values are. And when you have clearly defined values, decision-making becomes much, much easier and more effective. It's so awesome when you're there, because so many things just don't make sense.
Right.
You aren't disappointed with yourself at the decisions you've made.
Right, because you're sticking to your guns. You're sticking to what matters the most.
Absolutely. And you feel good about the person you see in the mirror every morning.
Boy, that's huge.
It is.
So here we go. Let's review 3 ways to cut clutter and find clarity. First, keep a clear mind. And this is where you really need to define your vision. And second, keep a clear heart. This is your mission. And then number 3, keep a clear soul. You do that by clearly defining your values.
Now, it turns out that Shakespeare was a master declutterer.
That's a cluttered word there.
It kind of is, isn't it? But what is his secret? To thine own self be true. When you're considering any, I'll put this in quotes, opportunity.
Air quotes.
Just when an option presents itself, when you have a choice to make, when an opportunity is in front of you, steer clear of clutter by focusing on how it impacts your vision, mission, and values. That leads to big success.
Want to find clarity in your life? Take our free life purpose quiz. You'll find it a big success. That's big with 2 G's, success.com.
And we thank you so much for listening to our show today.
Until next time,
here's to your big success.
Find big success at biggsuccess.com.